1. The Unseen Presence. In a quiet suburban home nestled on the outskirts of town, the Johnson family was living a seemingly peaceful life. However, an eerie presence lurked within the walls of their house. It started with faint whispers that echoed through the hallways, barely audible yet undeniably unsettling. At first, the family dismissed the whispers as their imagination, attributing them to the creaks and groans of an old house. But as the days passed, the whispers grew louder and more coherent, taunting them with words that seemed to be from a distant, malevolent source. Even in the dead of night, when all should have been silent, the whispers persisted. Objects began to move of their own accord, sliding across tables and crashing to the floor. The Johnsons couldn't explain these disturbing events. They watched in horror as chairs overturned, doors slammed shut, and their belongings rearranged themselves. The presence became increasingly aggressive, and the family's initial curiosity transformed into fear. Desperate for answers, the Johnsons turned to paranormal investigators, a team of individuals who had dedicated their lives to exploring the unknown. As they entered the house, they immediately sensed the oppressive atmosphere. They set up cameras and recording equipment, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. During their investigation, the team uncovered a dark history of the house. Decades earlier, a family had lived there, and a tragedy had unfolded within its walls. A vengeful spirit, trapped by an unfinished business, seemed to be the source of the disturbances. The investigators attempted to communicate with the spirit through seances and EVP sessions, but their efforts only seemed to agitate the entity. The presence grew more malevolent, pushing the boundaries of terror. The once peaceful house became a battleground between the living and the dead. The Johnsons, torn between fear and determination, decided to confront the entity head-on. Armed with the knowledge the investigators had uncovered, they embarked on a dangerous journey to free the vengeful spirit. It was a terrifying and emotional endeavor that tested their courage and sanity. In the end, the spirit was released from its torment, and the malevolent presence that had plagued the family for so long finally dissipated. The Johnsons' home returned to a state of tranquility, but the memory of their haunting journey remained etched in their minds. 2. The Disappearing Friend. One moonless night, a group of adventurous friends set out on a daring expedition to explore an abandoned, decrepit building on the outskirts of town. The structure loomed ominously in the darkness, its crumbling facade a testament to the passage of time. They were driven by curiosity and a shared desire for adventure. Armed with flashlights and fueled by a sense of camaraderie, the friends ventured deeper into the dilapidated building. Each creaking floorboard and rustling breeze added to the eerie ambience. The walls bore witness to the building's untold secrets, and they were determined to uncover them. As they ascended a decaying staircase, their excitement mingled with trepidation. In a particularly desolate and dimly lit room, they stumbled upon a chilling discovery. The room bore signs of habitation, and an old, tattered mattress lay on the floor, its surface marred by stains of an unknown origin. It was clear that someone had sought refuge within these haunted walls. But the most terrifying discovery was yet to come. As one of the friends stepped closer to inspect a piece of graffiti on the wall, they suddenly felt a cold hand on their shoulder. With a blood-curdling scream, they were yanked backward, disappearing into thin air. Panic gripped the remaining friends as they frantically searched for their missing companion. They called out their friend's name, but only the echoing emptiness of the building answered them. With trembling hands, they fled the decaying structure, leaving behind their vanished friend and the darkness that had swallowed them whole. The group's terror was indelibly, and they never found their missing friend. To this day, the abandoned building remains untouched and unchanged, a silent witness to an unexplained disappearance. The memory of that fateful night continues to haunt the survivors, forever shrouded in fear and uncertainty. 3. The Phantom Hitchhiker. In the heart of a quiet, isolated town, a long-forgotten urban legend resided, the tale of the Phantom Hitchhiker. This ghostly hitchhiker appeared on a desolate road at the stroke of midnight. Her presence was an enigma that had haunted the townsfolk for generations. Several brave souls had claimed to have picked her up, only to experience a spine-chilling encounter that left them trembling with fear. The night was heavy with an unnatural silence, broken only by the distant hum of a car engine as John, a weary traveler, journeyed down that ominous road. And then she appeared, a lone figure standing on the side of the road, her forlorn form silhouetted against the moonlight. With compassion in his heart, John pulled over and offered the stranger a ride. The woman entered the back seat, her presence ethereal and unsettling. Her voice was a mere whisper, a haunting murmur that sent shivers down John's spine as she directed him forward. As the miles passed, the passenger spoke cryptic words about the past and the future. The atmosphere inside the car grew colder, and an eerie sensation permeated the air. John's unease mounted with each passing mile, his grip on the steering wheel growing tighter. When he glanced in the rearview mirror, his heart stopped. The passenger was gone, her seat now empty. Panic surged through John's veins as he realized the impossible had occurred. The Phantom Hitchhiker had vanished, leaving him alone on the desolate road. John sped away from that eerie stretch of highway, forever marked by the encounter. The story of the Phantom Hitchhiker persisted, and those who encountered her still experienced unshakable fear. It was a tale that would continue to haunt the town's collective memory, a chilling reminder that the supernatural could be lurking just beyond the next bend. 4. The Cursed Painting. The art collector had always been drawn to the mysterious and the macabre, but nothing could have prepared him for the cursed painting. It was a centuries-old masterpiece, its canvas depicting a haunting scene that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who gazed upon it. Soon after the painting found its way into the collector's home, his life took a dark turn. Nightmares plagued his sleep, vivid and terrifying visions that left him drenched in cold sweat. Whispers echoed through his home, their origin an enigma he could not unravel. An oppressive evil seemed to have taken root in the very walls of his sanctuary. Desperation set in, and the collector embarked on a journey to break the curse. He delved into the painting's origins, unearthing a horrifying story of betrayal and revenge. The artwork had been created as a vessel for a malevolent entity seeking to exact retribution upon those who dared to possess it. The collector's life became a battle between the living and the supernatural. He sought help from experts in the occult, hoping to sever the connection between the cursed painting and his world. But the malevolent entity, bound to the artwork, was relentless in its pursuit of vengeance. As the collector fought to free himself from the curse, he faced nightmares that spilled into his waking hours, an unrelenting torment that seemed to defy the boundaries of reality. The cursed painting had become a malevolent portal, and the collector's life would never be the same again. 5. The Shadowy Figure. For Amanda, moving into a new apartment held the promise of a fresh start. Her excitement knew no bounds as she unpacked her belongings, eager to begin a new chapter in life. But soon, her enthusiasm turned to dread as she noticed a shadowy figure lurking in her peripheral vision. The apparition was elusive, always just at the corner of her eye, a silent presence that never revealed itself fully. Amanda could feel its malevolent intent, a dark and foreboding presence that cast a shadow over her every step. No matter where she moved, the shadowy figure remained, a menacing sentinel in her life. It seemed to revel in her fear, lurking in the corners of her apartment, and its presence was an ever-present reminder of the sinister forces that could encroach upon the lives of the unsuspecting. As days turned into weeks, Amanda's sense of unease deepened. She sought the help of paranormal investigators and mediums, hoping to uncover the mystery behind the shadowy figure. But the entity's true nature remained shrouded in darkness. The battle between Amanda and the supernatural force that had invaded her life grew more intense. The shadowy figure's malevolence seemed to escalate, and Amanda realized that she was not merely facing a benign apparition. She was grappling with something far more sinister, and the outcome of their confrontation was uncertain. The shadowy figure had become a relentless tormentor, a silent and enigmatic presence that had forever altered the course of Amanda's life. The struggle to free herself from its grip would test her courage and resilience as she delved deeper into the realm of the unknown. 6. The haunted hotel room. During a solo business trip, Michael checked into what appeared to be a seemingly ordinary hotel room. The night began like any other, with the traveler preparing to rest and recover. But what Michael did not anticipate was the ghostly figure that would awaken him in the dead of night. A presence stood at the foot of his bed, its eyes filled with malice, and an aura of malevolence that was palpable. Panic surged through Michael's veins as he was confronted by a supernatural entity that defied explanation. With a trembling hand, Michael checked out of the hotel the following morning, leaving behind the room that had become a nightmarish place of terror. As he left, he couldn't shake the feeling that something had gone terribly wrong, and the encounter had left a lasting impact on his psyche. As Michael delved deeper into the hotel's history, he discovered that the room he had occupied was marked by a tragic past of violence and death. The malevolent figure that had visited him in the night was a remnant of that dark history, a vengeful spirit that continued to haunt the living. The encounter left Michael forever changed, a haunting reminder of the malevolent entities that could lurk in the most unexpected places. The hotel room had become a portal to the supernatural, and the traveler's life would never be the same again. 7. The Poltergeist. In a peaceful suburban neighborhood, the Anderson family was living an idyllic life. However, their tranquility would soon be shattered by the evil presence within their home. It began with subtle disturbances, a misplaced item here, an eerie whisper there. But soon, these seemingly innocent pranks escalated into a reign of terror. Objects flew across rooms with unnatural force, crashing into walls and shattering into pieces. Disembodied voices taunted the family, whispering words of menace and despair. Malevolent scratches appeared on their bodies, each marking a chilling reminder of the sinister entity that had invaded their lives. Terrified and desperate for answers, the Andersons turned to paranormal experts. These investigators were no strangers to the supernatural, but the entity that plagued the family's home was unlike anything they had encountered before. It seemed to feed on fear, growing stronger with each torment it inflicted. The experts conducted seances and used various forms of communication to make contact with the entity. They discovered a dark history of the land the Andersons' home was built upon, and the malevolent spirit that had been bound to it for centuries. Despite their best efforts, the sinister entity only became more aggressive, pushing the family to the brink of madness. The Andersons found themselves trapped in a nightmarish cycle, their once happy home transformed into a battlefield between the living and the dead. The relentless poltergeist seemed determined to drive them from their house, and as the haunting escalated, the family faced a terrifying question. Would they ever find peace again? 8. The Ouija Board. In a cozy living room one fateful night, a group of friends decided to experiment with a Ouija board. What began as a lighthearted attempt to communicate with the spirit world took a sinister and terrifying turn. The planchette moved on its own, spelling out messages from the beyond. At first, it seemed harmless, a mere curiosity, but the atmosphere grew tense as the entity they had contacted revealed its malevolent nature. The messages grew darker, filled with threats and sinister promises. The friends were gripped by fear as the Ouija board seemed to take on a life of its own. Their attempts to end the session only seemed to enrage the entity further, leading to a night of unrelenting terror. As the entity's influence spread beyond the Ouija board, the friends began to experience inexplicable and horrifying events. Objects moved on their own, shadowy figures appeared in the corners of their vision, and the temperature in the room dropped to bone-chilling levels. They were no longer alone, and the malevolent entity seemed intent on inflicting chaos and dread upon their lives. Desperate to rid themselves of the curse they had unwittingly invited, the friends sought the help of paranormal experts. The experts confirmed the presence of a malevolent entity and embarked on a dangerous mission to break the connection between the spirit world and the living. The battle against the entity would test the friends' courage and resilience as they grappled with an enemy from the other side. The Ouija board had unleashed a malevolent force that would leave a lasting mark on their lives, a reminder of the darkness that can be awakened by the pursuit of the unknown. 9. The disappearing town. In the heart of a remote and isolated town, life unfolded like a tranquil dream. Residents woke up to the same familiar faces and picturesque landscapes every day. But one fateful morning, they awoke to a nightmare, a town that had seemingly vanished from existence. The streets lay deserted, and the once bustling town was now eerily silent, devoid of life and civilization. It was as if the world had been wiped clean, leaving no trace of the vibrant community that had once thrived. Panic and confusion gripped the residents, who found themselves stranded in a world that had become unrecognizable. They searched for answers, but there were none to be found. No one could explain the eerie phenomenon, and the mystery of the disappearing town remains unsolved to this day. As the years passed, the memory of the lost town became a haunting enigma, a ghostly echo of a reality that had slipped through the fingers of those who had called it home. The disappearance left a void in the hearts of the residents, a chilling reminder of the inexplicable and the unknown. 10. The Whispering Forest. A group of hikers embarked on a journey into a dense and serene forest, known for its otherworldly beauty. The whispers of the trees and the play of shadows against the sunlight created an atmosphere of tranquility. But as they ventured deeper into the woods, the very heart of nature seemed to come alive with an unsettling energy. The trees whispered secrets, their voices laden with ominous intent. Shadows twisted into sinister shapes, distorting the once friendly forest into an eerie dreamscape. The wildlife, which had previously been docile, turned hostile and menacing. The hikers' descent into madness was marked by the haunting and unnatural influence of the forest. Their compasses spun wildly, leaving them disoriented and lost. Unseen forces tugged at their clothing and hair, while eerie laughter echoed through the trees. As the hikers struggled to find their way back to civilization, the forest seemed to mock their every effort. Desperation set in, and the hikers were haunted by the feeling that the forest itself was alive, a malevolent entity that reveled in their fear and confusion. They had ventured into a world where nature and the supernatural coexisted, and their journey had become a nightmarish battle for survival. As they emerged from the woods, shaken and forever changed, they left behind a forest that would forever be etched in their memories as a place where the boundary between the natural and the supernatural had been irrevocably blurred. Join us as we journey into the darkest corners of the unknown. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a bone-chilling story.